Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm happy that you're here with us today. I'm feeling a lot better. I had I don't know what you want to call it, a punked out day yesterday. No energy, low energy. And it wasn't because of the day, nothing like SADS or anything like that, seasonal affective disorder, nothing like that. Just kind of like white, like a day at the beach when, you've been hit by the waves over and over and over and over and over. And I would wake for short periods of time and I would eat and drink and then I would pretty much fall back to sleep. And I think that it happens especially after times where I have put in a great deal of time or effort into a project. And sometimes after asserting yourself for a long period of time, it can wear you down. And it can reach a point to where maybe you're self-doubting yourself or you're questioning, maybe your direction that you're taking. You're maybe feeling just overwhelmed or irritable, and you're not sure why. It's that kind of feeling, and the good news is the first time you recognize it and acknowledge it, you're on your way, friends. So I want to talk about that today. And I want to talk about like the last 48 hours. Things that I've learned over the last 48 hours. And how it applies to all this stuff that I'm talking about. Okay? So with that, I'm going to get walking here and people can jump on as they may. There's a few people I'm intentionally inviting, people that I've opened up conversation with one way or another, or they have opened up conversation with me. So these individuals, of course, I want to make sure that they're a part of the process, correct? So with that, let's get going. Hey, Susie. Morning, Lena. For those of you who have never gone live, I always mention this because it's kind of a surprise at first. And when you first go live, you're already feeling that, not hit and record. It feels like you're hit and run, just like getting run over by a car, right? Well, that's when our feelings are more in control than we are. I think everybody would pretty much agree with that. I was a few minutes late getting up and getting moving today. And I still have that washed over feeling like a day at a beach, where you're just physically and emotionally drained, and it's like resettling into your routine and getting back on your feet, right? Well, sometimes it may be due to illness. It may be just because your body has just been on so much that you need to shut down. Well, the point I'm trying to make is that you have to understand it has to be for a short term, right? It has to be, if you're doing the same behavior repeated over and over again, if you're in bed 2 weeks straight without a diagnosis of the flu or something like that, right? Chances are you may be dealing with depression. And right now I'm going to stop and I'm going to insert that I'm talking from a point of being a mental health well-being educator, not a clinician. Everybody knows that my day job is being a clinician, right? Well, here in this arena, I'm not doing that. Here in this arena, I common sense solutions to everyday problems. I'm talking about looking at the whole picture. I use myself and the people who have agreed to allow me to talk about them in my lives. I don't willy-nilly talk about anybody without their permission, without them knowing what they're getting themselves into. That is one of those things that it's like I will never ask somebody to do something I'm not willing to do myself, period. And those are principles. Those are things that I value above anything else because honestly, that's the way I want people to treat me. And sometimes when you're getting ready to hit a growth spurt, or you're getting ready to up circle to the next level, that's the time when those insanity demons will jump on board and latch into your brain and try to convince you that it's impossible, that it's just a waste of time, because why would you ever think that you could have that kind of skill or live that kind of life that you want to have, right? I had a reality check the other day. I had another reality check again this morning. When I look at my life and I look at my, if you want to call it my personal mission statement, I'm living the life that I want. We live in a nice area. I give back to my community. I'm building relationships with like-minded people. I have looked back and done the research and the evaluation to see if there's changes that I need to make in my approach. I'm offering brainstorming sessions to the people that are serious about wanting change in their life. We're starting off small. I have 3 people in the chute this morning and 2 that I'm looking to decline for Glow. Maybe I need to do some changes to the description. Maybe I need to make it more clear. So I have to look first at me. Why? Some people have questions on their groups, okay? And it's, if you can't answer the question or you refuse to answer the questions, you can't be in the group, right? That's valid if that's what they need to do for their group. Some groups ask for emails. So what has this got to do with anything? Well, it's the same as your life. You're designing the program that you want. Does that make sense? I'll say that again. You're designing the program that you want based upon what? Your principles and your values and your understanding of them. So what I do is I teach self-governing leadership skills. I am a laptop grammapreneur. I am going to offer classes through Glow, Grandma's Lessons of Well-Being. When are you going to do it? I'm doing it now. How are you doing it? I'm learning the skills that I need to learn. So I understand how to operate all the applications. So I know what I need to do to schedule a month out in advance, to understand what my audience wants to hear, to let them know what my foundation and my principles are built off of so that they can understand and build trust in like-minded relationships with other people that are within Glow. Does that all make sense? So I got the big aha when I was reminded that I am living the life that I want. One of my friends, I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to go that far. They have all these pet names for their son's girlfriends, and it's usually based upon culture. Well, it's not meant to be a slam. It's more something that's accepted within their culture, and it's not a big deal. So for me, being not of that culture, I have to understand that sometimes we do the same thing. One of the big posts I posted this morning, I posted it in Globe, posted it on my main feed, posted it in 7 Habits, right? One of the pictures was a homeless camp. And Dave and I sometimes will refer to it as the Taj Mahal. Why do we do that? Are we making fun or poking fun at them? No, we're not. I work within the community to better the lives of people that are homeless, that have mental illness. That encampment is the only one in a 10-mile stretch that actually polices the area, cleans up, makes sure that there's not a whole bunch of junk laying around, making the area look even worse than what it is. And it's all these great big huge plastic tarps all put together. So that's not my life. So yes, I do help people, and at the same time, the fact that they appreciate the fact that they can stay there, that's kind of like their Taj Mahal. That's kind of like my house. Well, I'm sure they want a better life. And if I just give them money, does that help? No. They need to understand the programs that are available. They need to understand what they can do, just like me. What can I do to better my life? Am I done at 66? My birthday's in May. Am I going to be done at 66? No. I'll be done the day I die. I will keep getting out. I will keep walking. I will keep following the path that I have set forward for me. I have many, many reasons why all that is important. And there are times in my life when I have to stop and I have to be assertive and I have to have a conversation with myself and acknowledge that I'm in the place where I need to be at this moment in time in my life. That I am here for a reason. And that what I have to say holds value. And it is true that when we take the time to understand another person's story and their plight, and we offer advice when it is asked for, you're going to build a trusting connection that maybe inspires others, thank you, to do the same in kind, right? That's living an abundant lifestyle. That's taking the time to share all the pretty things that you see and talk about all the skills and strategies that we have in common that are going to get us to the next level. So for me, I'm committed every day to walk. And on days that it's impossible, say either it's pouring down rain or it's 10 below, or we don't have the right clothes, or whatever it is, then we have to use our creative minds that were given to us to think of other things to fill the void. It's that emptiness inside of us that it's like a beacon for, the whatever you want to call it, insanity demons, the things that cause us to go out and do stupid stuff that we normally would not do on our own. Spend money compulsively over feeling bad, shoving food in our face for what? Feeling bad, for not being valued, for not valuing ourselves, for whatever, insert the comment here, for whatever reason, So every day is a new day to get it right. That's my way of seeing it. I have my youngest grandson on my side. He's like 7 years old, 7, 8, somewhere in that ballpark. 12, it's kind of hard to always keep track of ages. And he has a reading disorder. And he shows signs of attention deficit, right? Has a really hard time sitting still. Well, Landon called me the other day, and he wanted to set up his business plan. He wanted to do chores for me and Grandpa, and he was all business-like. He had his pencil and his paper, and we talked about price and what kind of things that he wants to do. Well, he envies his older sister, Mackenzie, who at 15 has her job as an instructor at a tumble gym. And they do the ropes, the silk curtain things, tie themselves up to knots, and I don't know what you call them. And they use the big hoops and all that. And I was sent some video of her doing that. And I'm going to ask her mom if it's okay if I post it. I need to ask Mackenzie too. The point being, Landon, as young as he is, and with as many deficits as he has, he's talking about his business plan. And in the time that we were talking and he was writing, all we talked about was $5 an hour times 4 hours is $20. And when I first asked him how much he was going to charge me, he said 99 cents and 20. And 99 cents and 20 made sense to him. So we talked about it. Where he was at, where he was coming from, with his understanding of what currency is. And we built from there. It's just like when he's reading. We start from where he's at. He knows the word day, D-A-Y. So we already tell him he's halfway there. There's 7 days of the week, and they each start with a different, beginning, right? And they all end in what? Day. You're halfway there. When we learn to flip the script, whether we're 7 or whether we're 65, change happens. When you are looking and being radically honest, and you're talking about what it is you truly need, you're at the point of pain, and that you are going to be really honest with yourself. So I'm going to take a minute here, and I'm going to show you this. And that's me clearing my head. So I'd much rather have you look at something pretty than me blowing my nose. So taking a break, right? Understanding that if that break is for a short period of time, that it's okay. I'm sorry to hear that, Mary Carol. I hope that you're going to be okay. Do you have a phone that you can call out on and maybe call for a tow truck, or have a friend that maybe has AAA that you could call? Just some ideas. I don't know if you can look on your search engine and type in non-emergency sheriff's patrol. I think it's sheriff that has highway patrol. They can get the non-emergency number and they will help you. Might take a minute, but those are all safe ways to get your needs met. So let's get back to Landon, okay? Please let me know, Mary Carol, when you're okay, okay? I'd appreciate it. So let's get back to Landon, right? Now, if Landon understands how he gets his needs met, how to get his needs met, okay? At 7, that Mackenzie knows at 15, that Heidi knows at 38, that I know at 65, I've done my job as a parent. Now it's Heidi's turn as a parent, and it is my job to take the back seat and to assist in ways that create creative cooperation within the family unit to make things better for everybody. So one of the first classes that I am going to teach is for TAY Youth, Transitional Age Youth. It's built off the 7 habits, and it has an overarching theme of dialectical behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and motivational interviewing skills. It's going to be an online process. When that is done, I'm going to make the adult version. And there are about, I don't know, at least 20 different markets I can sell those to or put it out there, right? So what does that take? That means you have to have a budget. That means you have to have an understanding. That's like Landon. 99 cents and 20. Well, once he got the $20 figure out, how he's going to earn it, right? He asked me about the 99 cents. And I said, well, that's kind of like a bonus because you did all the hard work, right? And even though everything he wrote down looked like gibberish except for 4 times 5 equals 20 and 99, he took the first step to independence. You get it? So if Landon can get it at 7 and Mackenzie can get it at 15, now for those of you who don't know my granddaughter, she's already written 2 books. She's published the first one. She's cheered at the world level. She's fluent in sign language. She is hard of hearing. You would never know it. And she is a little inspiration on wheels. And I see that in each of my grandkids. In each of them. I see it in my daughters. When my children are ready to be a part of the process, they will be. When my grandkids are ready to be a part of the process, they will be. I, at that time, until they are ready, can continue to plant the seeds. Let's flip over to someone who's not as savvy, okay? I have 2 granddaughters, and I have their mother's permission to talk about this, who are developmentally delayed and have some type of mood disorder. We're working with one now to try and create a plan that she can tolerate to remain at home. Now, sometimes we have episodes. Episodes are brief periods of time when life is not making sense to you. It may be a mental illness. It may be a incident of domestic violence. It might be living with an alcoholic. There are lots of different events that cause stress within a person's life. And then when you add something like COVID, or when you add something like a person that has nothing nice to say about life in general, what record are you playing? What is the hit tune of the day? How incompetent I am, or how resourceful I am? What record is playing, and are you willing to flip the script? And I'm saying this in a dramatic fashion because yesterday, I don't know if it was due to being exhausted or just mentally worn out, I had to take a beat. I had to breathe. Yes, I walked. Yes, I posted. Did I post as much as I usually did? No. Maybe some people were happy about that. I don't know. Maybe not. I do know that I am living the life of my dreams. Here's the catch. The story's not finished yet. That's one of those, are you playing a finite game or an infinite game? Are you in it for the short haul, or are you in it for the long haul? It's okay, Rachel. Yesterday, the wind was blowing really hard. You could hear half of what I was talking about, where it glitched in and out, and that's okay. That's learning technology. That's learning to understand the environment. That's learning to know that we don't always have control over outside forces, which are what? Subjective or objective? Outside forces. Who knows the answer? They're objective. They are things that are out of our control, that we have no influence on, right? What do we control? Our lives, our plan, our dreams to get to where we want to be. Are those objective or subjective? It might be one of those, it depends. Depends on what? How I am feeling about myself currently, right here in this moment. Am I in the present past? Am I in the present future? Am I feeling anxiety? Am I feeling depression? If so, did I do my head to toe scan? If so, did I contact my doctor? If so, am I taking the medication as prescribed? If so, am I getting out and holding myself accountable and taking walks? If so, if it's raining, what am I doing about it? Am I finding other activities to fill the void, the emptiness, that holds those insanity demons, for lack of better wording, that tell you that you're not good enough? Or who are you to think that you can? So one of the best things that I have ever learned to do for myself, and how we have gone about breaking generational curses, if you want to call it that, eating issues, better relationships with my children, right? I have to understand that I am not working on my time schedule. I am working on theirs. When they are ready and open to hear it, they will hear me. Until then, I will continue to talk to them in a respectful manner. I will hold myself accountable to rise above any stupid interactions on their point. I will breathe through with I am. I will breathe out all the negativity and stress. I control me just like you control you, right? So that's when we get to that point that we understand that we're in control. We understand that all things are possible. So I'm going to really encourage you. I'm going to challenge you today. No matter what your situation, no matter if you're looking at homelessness, ending a relationship, being stuck in a tug of war for the next 8 years until your child turns 18, 19 in the courts. What are you going to do to value you, take care of you, to get your needs met, to get you where you want to be in your next endeavor, your goal? Have a better relationship, learn the skills to get a better job, building an online business, whatever it is. What are you willing to do for yourself to make it up to the next level? If you're not sure, what do you got to do? You start by unpacking it. You start by breaking it down, just like me. What skills do I have? Well, I'm great at running groups. I'm great at doing counseling services. I don't want to do counseling services. I want to do mental health, well-being, education. I want to teach people how to have self-governing leadership skills. I want to have excellent relationships with my family and my friends. I want to take a minute to appreciate the beauty within the little concrete jungle that I live in, right? I live in the suburbs. If I had my way, I would live out on 10 acres of land in a nice area with 4 transition homes. Glow would be up and running. I would have a $3 million business and headed towards 5, right? And at the same time, I'm helping others learn how to do it. That's what the brainstorming sessions are about. Yes, you're right, Susie. You have to look at what I would call your current reality. You have to learn how to unpack it, and you need to learn how to do it without judgment or bias. And how to get through those periods of time when you feel like you're in a mucky situation and it doesn't matter what you do or who you talk to, it just feels like, it's why even bother? Well, when you get in positions like that, it's okay to take a short break. What I'm hoping everybody hears is don't let those short breaks become weeks and weeks and weeks of where you say, oh, I have no control over, oh, I can't do anything. Yes, you can. What can you do to take care of you? What can you do to give back to your community? Just like I am in Seroptimus, right? I do the Seroptimus Club. It's women helping women. What am I doing to work on those skills that I need to learn? Well, I need to take a basic Google class. I wanted to do it for 2 years at work. I never found time. I was always putting everybody else's needs first. Guess what I'm doing now? Whose needs am I putting first now? Me. Along with others as I can. As I can. Yes, as I can. And it's okay to use words like no on occasion. Sometimes I don't say no enough. And that's when I think that was a mistake that I said yesterday. There's like 4 different areas I think that Stephen Covey talks about. He talks about, I think it's body, spirit, head, and heart, or something like that. I have to look that one up. So if I've said it wrong, I'll post a rebuttal. And it's understanding that in each one of those dimensions that we go to seek balance, right? So the theory is, in Caitland, if one of those areas are out of balance, spirituality, your body, your head, or your heart, then you're not in harmony, and you're going to have emotions bleed from one area to the next, to the next, to the next. So like if you're having a fight at home, it'll get transferred over to work because you haven't let it go while you're at work. You're thinking about that instead of whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, right? Or maybe you got one of those people that, call you 47 times. Shut the phone off. Give a secondary number to the people that really need to get a hold of you. You know it's important, you're going to answer, right? Check your phone on occasion. There's lots of strategies that you can use to deal with those kind of situations. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. Feel free to do a testimonial. I got to tell you something. I didn't push numbers for Glow because I wanted this to go gradually, right? We're at like 398. And I rejected over the last 4 weeks about 30 people due to suspicious accounts. And there's not knowing how to answer questions. And then there's suspicious accounts. Like, I've been on Facebook since 2007, and you have 5 posts, and maybe they include children, and you're kind of like, it's kind of like those things. So understanding what's important to you and how you're going to get there. And it's like understanding what parameters that you need to set. So just like I've got certain people that can post freely, and then I check other posts. I encourage people to post, and then I cannot make people post, right? I can advertise my YouTube channel, and really all it is are like my lives. What I would really like to do is like a daily show. And I'll get there. I would love to do a podcast like daily show. So I don't have those skills yet. There's other basic skills that I got to learn so I can get where I want to be. And what I've learned is if we can break, when I say we, I say me, Heidi, my family, right? If we can break the eating disorder cycle, and if we can break the past lopsided relationships that we've had due to X, Y, Z, and the next ABCs, right, that have been involved in the conflicts in our life, then we're headed in the right direction. And I have to remember that I'm living the life that I want. And the question becomes, what are you willing to let go of? They need to be right, or to have a peaceful resolution, right? Oh, I'll work with you on it, Lena. It's not a big deal. That's fine. I can help you with that. It's just putting yourself out there and understanding. So like maybe one good thing to do to get going is look about how to arrange your content, how to arrange content. So like, Dr. V comes in and he does the news. And then from the news, he talks about like whatever the hook is. And then from there, then he does the content. And then from there, he does the elevator tips, right? So that's a scripted dialogue because he does it every day, right? That's how he sets it up. So figure out what you're going to talk about. That will be a good practice for you in the brainstorming session. Think about it and then present, say, like next month when you're comfortable, right? That's how you get out of the comfort zone. That's what Brandon Bouchard was talking about this morning, how he got out of the comfort zone, how he learned how to talk in front of people. He took college classes, and it took him 4 years of reading quotes and reading different books and pacing around. He said he paced so much that he wore out his dorm room rug, practicing, moving from one end to the other while he's on stage, right? Or like Jim Rohn says, he says, share your story and first ask the other person to share their story. You might be surprised at what you find out. So, like Dr. V, I think a lot like Dr. V, and I think differently. Regardless, I have respect for the man, and I have respect for the community. Does that make sense? So I take what works for me. I take what works for me, and I apply it to my life. Now, other people may not agree with that, and that is okay. I can hear openly what they have to say and have a conversation. That is a skill that I've learned from doing the 7 habits. Habits 1, 2, 3, which are our personal victories. We're learning the basics on how to have a conversation and how to be disciplined. Now that one's mine. How to be disciplined. It is not a punishment. It is an opportunity to learn new skills to get where we want to be. Period. We flip the script, correct? And that's how we stay motivated. People attending the brainstorming sessions, they'll tell you it's a work in progress, right? And it's all a group that has similar issues around relationships. So it's a defined group that is moving from finite skills to infinite skills, from finite skills to infinite skills. In other words, let me put this another way. Moving from dependence, codependence, to independence, to interdependence. Okay? So the question is where are you on the continuum? What are you willing to do, not only to help yourself, but to help other people, even when those people are struggling with multiple impacts in their life? What are you willing to say no to in order that you can say yes to? What are you willing to say no to in order for you to say yes to? I got to write that one down. That's a good one. Someone write that down for me. What are you willing to say no to in order that you can say yes to? Or whatever it was I said. Now I got to go down and watch it again. I have to sit down and rewatch my life. That's okay. I do that anyways. Why do I do that? Because I watch for inconsistencies in my speech. Like yesterday I mentioned the 4 dimensions, and I think I mentioned one of them wrong. I didn't mention spirit or something like that. Why is that important? Well, because when you're building a brand, or when you're saying, okay, part of what the YouTube channel is to watch someone who knows 0 skills develop a YouTube channel, right? So it's seeing all the mistakes in action so that people understand what it's like to go through this stuff. So people understand why I do what I do. And then as I, develop and learn and grow and meet all the people that I'm meant to meet and organize all the things that I'm meant to organize, well, then maybe I'll have that lifestyle where I can travel anytime and, do things with my grandkids, like take them to Italy. So that's one of our goals within the next 5 years. I want to take the grandkids to Italy. And what will that take? Well, we all got to get passports, right? Well, I have my passport. Heidi has hers. So, it's like that. And, well, gee, what do you want to do when you get there? Well, you start doing research, right? About the places that you want to go and why, and how it's maybe connected to our family history, or Heidi's love of castles. That kind of thing. So sometimes we have to learn to say no. Sometimes we have to, kind of put things out there. My advice to you, Rachel, is you can always choose how you're going to act in a given situation. And it takes practice. That's the dialectic. You can act the way that you want to act. And the dialectic is it takes time and it takes practice. I didn't learn how to do what I did overnight. It took me years of practice. I think what I'm offering and what's different in my presentation is that I'm offering people not shortcuts, but I'm getting right to the point. I'm not giving you all the blah, 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 that you don't need. I'm just going straight to the facts, man. I'm presenting the facts as I see them. And eventually what's going to happen is people are going to start sharing. And people are going to start listening because what they hear is trustful, verifiable information. And another word for that is transparency. Now, does that mean that... Here, Lena, ask to answer another part of your question about doing lives. Do you have to share every negative fact about your life, or just only every perfect thing in your life? My advice to you is to share what you're comfortable sharing, what you're knowledgeable enough about, like karaoke. Let me give you an example. I'm going to flip this over because I got to blow my nose here. Just another second if I can find my flipping Kleenex. Hang on just a second. We're here at the park here, right around the corner. I'm walking real slow, and you'll hear the counties out here clipping grass. And there's some people over there that are working with their dog, and I don't have their permission to put them on, so I'm not going to show you that. But here's one of the places that I go when I need just a little solitude. This is a quick fix to getting out in the open air in the country. Yeah, so understanding, Lena, you're right, that our lives are not perfect and that they're complicated doesn't mean that we have to share every dirty detail, right? But we can, and we can talk about what we're comfortable talking about, what other people have given us permission to talk about, right? So, I mean, there's a whole lot that I could discuss that I choose not to because of the people who are in my life, who are not ready to share their story, or who are not ready to deal with X. And I'm not naming names, I'm just making a general statement. And there are other people that are more encouraging. So how do you know if you're living your best life? Right? How do you know? Well, like my post, like the Taj Mahal that we talked about earlier. That's not a slam on the homeless. It's the fact that I have respect that they take care of the campsite. Because the other 20 that are 2 miles down the road, I'm telling you, looks like someone just threw trash everywhere. And when you think of all the resources that it takes to handle things like that, you understand. Because that money could have been spent more wisely. So, yeah, I understand about government grants, and I understand about nonprofits, and I understand about information and resource. And I understand about self-governing leadership skills, and I understand about different cultures because I've worked with them. I've done this for forever. Does it make me the smartest person on the planet? No. It means that I've lived a long life, and I'm just getting started. I understand what mental illness looks like. I understand what natural consequence has to be for people who are not hearing what needs to be heard or sees things that they're not seeing correctly. It's called a thought distortion. If you're looking at an objective situation, someone comes to you and says, punching holes in wall and threatening people, threatening to kill them, is not acceptable. And you say, oh, I hear voices and that's other. No. That is called having an episode and understanding the difference between an episode and a behavior. It's totally different. Totally different. So if you don't have the skills to know, and then you have all these people coming into your house and telling you all the things that they think that you're doing wrong, it's real easy not to take that personally, right? So when I look at my whole life and I see the differences that I've helped make, and I see that I'm not done yet, it inspires me to be more, to do more, to remember that it is okay, that if we have to take a break for a short period of time, it's okay. The fact of the matter is don't let that break encompass your whole life. Don't stay in bed, hid under the covers, doing nothing. Get up, value each day, value what you have to offer, and share it with your community. Start small. Remember, like what Brendon Burchard said, to focus on unpacking it and breaking it down into small enough units. So like if you want to talk about your karaoke, talk about how it makes you feel. Talk about why it inspires you, maybe to take singing lessons or to teach others, or, maybe go to competitions after this COVID thing's over, that type of thing. I will. I'm going to have to ask my nail tech for it. I think it's a gel polish, and what I like about gel is it just takes a beating. And yeah, it's one of the very few things, because the nail person works with me, and I go in at some ridiculous hour in the morning, like at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning when nobody else is there, so that she can work and take care of me. And I know her hygiene standards, and I know what she does, so I trust, see that word? Trust her ability to take care of my needs, just like I trust my hairdresser, to take care of my needs. And yeah, those are my two guilty pleasures, and I'm okay with it. Why? Because I'm living the life that I want to live. I'm doing the things that I want to do. I'm happy where I'm at, and I want to achieve more. That's the dialectic. That's us learning how to get where we want to be. Because there are going to be times when things happen and we're not ready for them. And we have to come to a point in our lives, and we've got to say, what are we going to do about it? I'm going to show you something here. See if I can talk about this and tie it in. Hang on one second. Now this is just a small tree. See that? That little small tree there? Well, in the last windstorm that broke off, right? That's a county problem, so they're paying for that. I have a tree, probably 4 times that size in my front yard, right? I have to plan to have that tree cut back. Because what if it falls on a neighbor's roof? Who's responsible for the damage, right? Just like when I went to the dentist on Tuesday. I went in worried because I've got my back molar on the bottom. We found that the filling cracked and the tooth cracked. So that's a crown. The tooth next to it has been worked on several times, and it's a matter of time when it becomes an implant, and that's about $3,000, right? So I've never seen a crown under $1,700. Plus this, plus all the other. Well, why is this important? This is related to my health. When I don't go in for my, not twice a month, twice a year flossings, I have to go in like 4 times a year to get it all cleaned out, because I know it's part of having the gastric bypass and my body not absorbing, vitamins and minerals, right? So just like cutting the tree, I have to plan for all this expenses, right? So designing that life that you want, doesn't matter if you're 65 or 42 or 38, 18 or 15. Start now. Start figuring out, by being radically honest about your whole life situation and what your needs are. Start there to design the life that you really want. Understand that it's going to be the consistent action that gets you to where you want to be. The consistent action, just like getting out and walking every day. And then learning to pivot when you need to pivot. To understand what it means to have a reasonable growth rate. And label yourself successfully. I remember when I first lost all my weight, or most of my weight. And it's the first time I'd seen a size 14. Size 14 since I was like 13. And at the time, I think I was 50 something, right? I nailed those Levi's. It was a pair of Levi's I bought at Crossroads Thrift Store. They were like $40, still had the tags on them. And I nailed those suckers to my bedroom wall. And every morning I got out and I walked, because I knew what it was going to take to get me down to that next size. So live your life like you're 120. Eat like you want to be 120. Exercise like you want to be 120. Go out and buy yourself an outfit that would fit at 120. Why don't people want to be radically honest with themselves? I think mostly because it requires us looking at the ugly parts of our lives and the ugly situations. And it's like when you make a decision, what you hold yourself accountable for. And say the court systems are saying something else, right? Well, every day you live your life as if you are this person that you say that you are. And you don't worry, because all it is words. All it is words. And when you break things down into small enough units and you start living it as your lifestyle, it will become your lifestyle, because you are no longer criticizing and complaining. What you're doing is consistent action to make changes in your own life. And that's the hard part. When say your children are your hardest critic. Let's say that. When your children are your hardest critic, and they say, Mom, I want Abercrombie and French pants or whatever the hell the label is, right? Well, if they're old enough to have a job, you meet them halfway. Oh, you want that? Okay, well, here, I'll give you $40. You're going to go out and earn the other $40 or however much they cost, right? The same strategy that we're using with Mackenzie, getting a car, right? At 15, she has a job making $15 an hour working with children in a tumble class, teaching them the ribbons and the rings. Now, do you think that child had skill doing ribbons? Well, not previous, but she correction, and she cheered at the world level and tumbled at the world level, right? It took her about 2 minutes to pick up the skill. So you can build off of what you have. And, you know, one of the things that Dave and I constantly talk about Mackenzie about, she wants to be an author. At 15, she's taking college classes. Now, she went in with many deficits, right? And she's in an English 1A class with a tutor. So, you talk about skills and strategies. That young lady has it going on. She's a rose among all the thorns, right? So, she's got it already set. She knows what she wants to do, and she understands that she can't just write to earn a living. Right now, she has to work. So she has time to write that book that's going to sell and make her the money that she needs to continue writing, to just write. You know, I think one of the things that holds me back sometimes is indecision, based off of a distorted perception of what I have, you know? So understanding that and applying it makes all the difference, right? I'll see you tonight, Rachel. Good night. Or good day, I should say, right? Have a good day. So I encourage you, each and every one of you, do the same. Take an inventory. Maybe create a mission statement about what you want out of life. And compare it to what you have and see what changes you need to make, right? So I think I'm going to hop off too. I've been talking quite a while. All right. Bye.